Bhaktivedanta Hospital. It's a very, very amazing concept that they have going on here. It is a hospital where they have about 150 beds. And I'm not quite sure if that's the exact number. And they have hundreds of doctors. And most of the doctors, I was told, are doctors who do a special kind of practice. And the practice is called the practice of spiritual love or bhakti. And so when I heard that this hospital has people who are practicing spiritual consciousness, then I thought, how nice to go and have this body inspected and checked. As some of you know, this body had some karmic challenges from previous lifetimes. So I check on the brain tumors and things like that, and just to make sure that it's still with me and didn't leave me and just didn't just abandon me and be gone. So I just check on them to make sure they're okay and to make sure they're not, that we are working together cooperatively with one another. So in this hospital, they do all kinds of tests, and they have an interesting holistic approach. So they have homeopathic, Ayurvedic, and allopathic approach. Very interesting concept. And every day, 2 times in a day, the whole staff in the hospital practically takes a 10-minute break, and they all stand together and they all meditate. 10 minutes. Every staff in the hospital, they have maybe around 2,000 or so staff. It's a very interesting place. And they also have a moving temple, a small moving temple on wheels that go from one patient's room to another patient's room. And every patient gets a fresh flower in their hands. And if you would like, you can take that flower and offer it to the beautiful deities that they have going from one hospital patient's room to the other. Very interesting concept. And within this department, they have another department called the Spiritual Counseling Group. You know, when someone leaves their body or something, then there's a spiritual counseling group that comes in and just gives you a lot of love and affection and support and tells you beautiful stories from the Vedas and Puranas of how the soul sometimes will depart the bodies in different ways and how the soul migrates from one body to another. But this is all done very affectionately. So this is what happens in this hospital. Homeopathic, Ayurvedic, and allopathic. You can take your pick. And they even would recommend different methodologies based on the kind of physical challenge that you may be facing. So this is where I'm in. I'm in one of the rooms in the hospital, and they come and check on me, and they watch my diet. They have run, 15 different blood tests. These are some things that we talk about in our community, that we do not believe in this spiritual bypass, that whenever we have any issues, we just say, God will take care of it. That's his business. Yes, it's true, but we also have a functional moral and ethical duty to address the needs of the body. So therefore, I wanted to make sure that I practice what I preach, what I teach, not what I preach. So here, getting all these tests, and we had a lot of MRIs done and a lot of CT scans and X-rays and blood tests. That's why you can see I also have this thing where they can put stuff in my body to do more tests. So this is a little synopsis of this hospital. This was the brainchild of one saintly personality named Radhanath Swami. Some of you may know him. He had this idea that it'll be nice to have a place where everyone will have access to holistic, with WHO, holistic healthcare approach. And so it's been a big success for them. They opened up in 1998, is what I was told. So this is it. This is where I'm at. Now I'm going to go backwards, giving you all an update of my journey. And the really cool thing about this place is that all the food that you eat is all sanctified food. Every patient eats sanctified, pure, freshly cooked food. They don't have microwaves in here. And they bring it fresh. And then right behind them comes this, this spiritual counselors. And they come and inquire about your heart and your mind and your general well-being. I was thinking, I have to share this with everybody. It's so cool. Like, who goes into a hospital bed and you don't have a heart condition, but they come and ask you, how is your heart today? And you're like, what? In our communities worldwide, when we are used to being asked, how is your heart? How is your mind? Because it's part of our culture, the culture of bhakti, to genuinely inquire about each other's heart and mind well-being. But they also practice that in the hospital. It was so cool. And they both sat in front and we shared spiritual realizations. And it was beautiful. So yeah, sanctified food, you get a rolling temple, beautifully decked out with lights, with fresh flowers that come into your room, and you get a flower, you get to offer it. And then you get like this spiritual counseling crew that comes in and gives you more care. And I'm like, maybe I should just move in here or something, It's so nice. So this is where I'm at. So previous to this, as most of you know, last week I gave you an update. I was in a place called Vrindavan. And I was doing a little bit more personal spiritual reflection and introspection. What that means is, I'm always surrounded by people because I love people. So I was thinking how to not surround myself with people and just surround myself in this beautiful, powerful place called Vrindavan. And it didn't work out fully that way. My karma is never to be alone. Then somehow there were other people who are also doing the same thing, and we all kind of met together. Then we had another group of 4 or 5 people. And I went to these 2 special places that I want to share with you about. One is a place, what is it called? It's called the Lota Baba Temple. Puchari Ka Lota. In Hindi, that's what they call it. And this is a temple on the Govardhan hill that we've been talking about. It is in the shape of a beautiful peacock. And at the tail of the peacock is this temple. Puchari means the tail. Lota is a cowherd boy. And he was waiting for Krishna there for thousands of years. So in that beautiful story, when I went to that temple, they told me that story is that there was this boy, cowherd boy named Lota, and Krishna asked him, hey, I'm going to Dwarka. Do you want to come with me? And he said, yeah, I want to go with you, but I don't want to leave Vrindavan. For those of you who came to Vrindavan with me, you know, it's really hard to leave Vrindavan. It's too much spiritual love. And it was hard for me to leave as well. Once you go there, you just want to try and deal with this deep spiritual love that you can feel inside of you. So this deep individual connection between the self and the supreme self, that loving exchange is something that you cannot avoid in this land of Vrindavan. So nobody can leave. So this Lota Baba, this cowherd boy, said, no, Krishna, you can go. I mean, like, it's so funny. If anybody, Krishna calls anybody, everybody wants to go with him. But this boy says, no, I want to stay here in Vrindavan. He said, but I'm not coming back anytime soon. But he says, but are you sure you're going to come back? And he said, I promise you I will come back. So this cowherd boy, he sat there and he meditated for 5,000 years. Talk about patience. My patience is like, it depends for what. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, and sometimes it's more or less, and sometimes it's even lesser, and sometimes some of us, we don't have any. I sometimes wonder if there was a shop in the world where we can go and buy buckets and buckets or gallons and gallons of patience, because sometimes I really pray for patience. And many of us, we may not have patience. If you look at how you take care of yourself, you may realize that you may need a little bit of that patience too, to be with yourself, with whatever it is that you're doing. We're not always very patient. But this Lota Baba, this cowherd boy, he was patient for 5,000 years. So that's what I went to the temple for, because I want to practice patience. Sometimes I have a tendency that I want to get things done now. The world needs to feel this affection of prema bhakti, this emotion of spiritual love, and they need it now. They're hungry for it. People are lonely in this world. Someone sent me an article. It says that 1 out of 3 person in this world is experiencing loneliness. It's because someone needs to be there to fill that space of loneliness through loving, compassionate, spiritual friendships. So I become impatient. And then I realized, come on, Beta, just relax, take it easy. So I've been trying to find different ways to practice more and more patience with myself and with others. So this temple is a temple in Vrindavan that when you do Govardhan Parikrama, that you can meet. And thousands, if not millions of people, they stop there to pray to this cowherd boy for patience. So I joined the bandwagon. I went there and I sat in the temple like everyone. They all sit in the temple and they try to practice patience. So I also sat in the temple. and I did hours of meditation. So this is where I spent 2 days from last week. Lota Baba. And so when you come with me next year to Vrindavan, to India, and I'm going to take you there, and I'm going to patiently make you sit there and see if you can be patient. And your mind doesn't just make you jump off your seat and go and chase the monkeys or feed the monkeys, because there are tons of monkeys around and they're constantly creating some sort of drama, so everyone is attracted to it. Which happened to me, by the way. I was like patiently sitting there, and this whole group of monkeys, they start play fighting. And it was so entertaining. Everybody's sitting there. It's like, there goes my patience. And I'm here being entertained by these monkeys. So then I come back next day and I do it all over again. It's a very beautiful temple, very beautiful temple. There's a lot more to tell you about this temple, but I'll give you enough information, just enough for you to want to come there next year with me. And then the next place that I spend my time in is this place called Surabhi Kund. Surabhi is the name of a cow. They consider her to be the origin of all the cows. Like we all have an origin. So why not the cows also have an origin? The original cow. So this original cow is called Surabhi. And there's a beautiful lake around Govardhan dedicated to her. Why? Because it is explained that if you want to practice forgiveness, that is the place to go. Why is this so important for us as yogis? Why is forgiveness so important for us? Because unless and until we truly practice forgiveness on ourselves and to others, for others, then our spiritual ultimate feelings of this spiritual joy and the spiritual happiness, we will be deprived. Because you cannot have something, hold on to something, and experience something else. You have to let go. I'm holding on to this. I have to let go of whatever is in my hand in order for me to grab something else. So there's emotions that we have in ourselves, anger, lust, greed, envy, jealousy, and imagine all the different other emotions that we hold in ourselves, and the pain and anger that we have towards others, thinking that me holding on to my anger against someone else is going to hurt them while I hold on to it. I mean, it's very ludicrous to think that, but that's how it works. Most of us, we're angry at someone and we hold on to that anger. Our parents, our teachers, our friends, our partners. So we're not able to experience that spiritual love. The spiritual emotions are not accessible to us because there is something that you're holding on that doesn't belong to you. This anger is not your property. You don't own it. Hatred, jealousy, greed, these are not qualities that you own. It doesn't belong to you. So people come to this place called Surabhi Kund to practice deep, deep and extremely deep practices of forgiveness. And why is this place selected? Why not any place? Because there's a very powerful story. You know, we mentioned the story of this hill, Giriraj Govardhan, this mountain. This hill, of course, I have to tell you another long story, so I won't go there, but this hill was the provider for everything for all the residents of Vrindavan. Their food came from there, their water came from there, their jewels came from there, their flowers came from there, their fruits, their nuts, their milk, the grass, the cows used to graze on the beautiful luscious grasses of Govardhan, this mountains, and provide milk. So everything that the residents of Vrindavan wanted was provided by this mountain called Giriraj Govardhan. That's why this mountain is sacred. It's the desire fulfilling incarnation of the divine in the form of a mountain. So this mountain, this king of the heavens, Indra, he got a little upset with the residents of Vrindavan because he got ignored by them. Is there some of you, sometimes you get upset when someone ignores you? Yeah, if your child ignores you, you're like, what's wrong with you, man? Come on. Haven't I done this for you, that for you? You're ignoring me? Even if when your friends ignore you, you get upset. And Indra is the god of all gods in the heavenly regions. And he provides us so many things through his other gods, demigods in the heavenly planets. So he thought, you know, how come these residents of Vrindavan, why are they ignoring me? How dare they ignore me? And finally, you know what? I'm going to teach these residents of Vrindavan a lesson. So this is what happened when his ego was affected simply because someone ignored him. And because his ego got the better of him, and he wanted to punish the residents of Vrindavan by showering them with the most powerful torrential rain possible. And he wanted to drown them all in his waters and have them all killed and destroyed. Just because someone ignored him. What do you think about that, Narayani? That's pretty crazy. Imagine if your son ignores you. Like, it hurts inside, but I don't think you'll go to that extent of Indra to like destroy your son. But Indra's ego was so hurt. It's like, I'm gonna destroy these people. So he pours on this rain and he tries to flood the whole city of Vrindavan. Little did he know that the divine had 5,000 years ago, the divine decided to come and hang out amongst people. And he came down as a little boy. And he was also residing in Vrindavan. He was a Vrindavan resident. So they took shelter of him, and he lifted the mountain on his little pinky, on his left hand, not on his right hand, on his left hand, not on his thumb, but on his little pinky. Why? Because remember, the ego is Indra's ego. He wanted to just give him a little treatment for his egos. Our false egos, you know, we get different treatments for false egos. Our false ego get different treatments. When we don't learn our lessons, the material energy just keeps smashing and smashing and taking away our friends and our properties and whatever it is. everything gets disowned by you. Everybody disowns you. Everything disowns you. Your society, your family, your belongings, your body, your beauty, your kidneys, your lungs, your eyes, everyone disowns you. And this is how we learn to eventually, hopefully, give up this false ego that we hold on to. Because time takes it all away. But Indra, needed some more stronger message to deal with his ego. So this little Krishna just picked up his little pinky, and on the tip of the pinky, not even the whole pinky, on the tip of the pinky, he held on to this mountain. Just to teach Indra a lesson. See, Indra is not so gross like us. He's more subtle. He gets the message. We don't get the message. So everything has to be taken away from us. Then we get the message. So then finally what happens? Indra realizes, oh my God, what did I do? I tried to kill all the residents of Vrindavan and nobody died. And I've used the most powerful rain possible. And then he realized, oh my God, I realize that my boss is the little guy down there. And I just did a big boo-boo. And so what do you do when you do a little boo-boo? When you make a little mistake. As a grown man, when we make a mistake, we don't want to go and apologize. There are people here that I know in this group that have not reconciled and that have not apologized for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Why? Because our egos are so hurt. And our egos won't let us go and apologize to others. And won't let us go and say, hey, look, I totally goofed up when I got you the ice cream. You wanted vanilla ice cream and I got you chocolate ice cream. And I know how much you hate chocolate ice cream. And I totally got the wrong one. And as a result, you got a cold because of it. And yada, yada, yada. We can't apologize. Really hard. So what happened when you want forgiveness? So what does Indra do? Indra goes to this cow named Surabhi. Why the cow? Because cow's the mother. Mother is unconditional. He goes to the cow and he says, Mother Surabhi, please help me out. I have done a big mistake. And I don't want to go see Krishna because he must be mad with me. And the reason is that Krishna, the word Krishna means love, all attractive. Love can never be angry. The way Krishna took it, who's the embodiment of transcendental love, in this beautiful story that I'm sharing with you, he was not angry at all. What he was thinking is, this Indra has done such a beautiful service. He gave a beautiful shower to this incredible Giriraj mountain. See how he's thinking? And you see how someone with the ego is thinking? Ego thinks that I can hurt Krishna. And Krishna is the embodiment of transcendental love. There's no room for hate when there's love. So what he's saying is, wow, so nice of Indra to watch this beautiful mountain give it a beautiful abhishek. So Krishna had gratitude, but Indra had fear because he knew he was operating from the space of false ego. You see how two things from two sides, people look at it from such different angles. So this is what happened. A major, major, major misunderstanding. So who is approached? We're being approached by this cow, Surabhi, and she is the representation of pure unconditional love. Why? Because she just gives. It is explained that she was giving Surabhi cows in Vrindavan. They gave so much milk. Why? Because they were so filled with love. Vrindavan means the land of love. They were so filled with love that all the cows were continuously giving milk from their udders. So much so that it explains that Vrindavan was the land of lakes. You know, lakes of what? Lakes of love in the form of milk. That is what Vrindavan is all about. So that is why Indra knew the best way to approach the purest form of love, the purest form of love, is to at least find someone that is approachable, who is practicing and is connected and is experiencing that purest form of love. And that is the Surabhi cows in Vrindavan. And so therefore, he approached Surabhi cow, and the Surabhi cow said, "Oh, don't worry, Indra. I'll be so happy to serve you in any way possible." So then that's where they sat, and that's where they meditated, and that's where he could truly practice self-forgiveness. And then what happened? That Krishna appeared to both of them. He says, "Come on, silly, how do they, come on, people, don't worry. I accept you. I love you, and I appreciate both of you so much. 100% forgiveness is there." So this is the place called Surabhi Kund. And this is where I spend the second part of my trip. My personal is called personalized meditation, the place of forgiveness. So please understand, the reason I'm telling you this story is because we all need to practice self-forgiveness. And this is something that you all have to meditate, because we are so hard on ourselves and so easy on others at times, and sometimes vice versa. So this is the place, Surabhi Kund. And I have 10 more minutes, then I want to tell you my final spiritual experience. And the third thing I've done this year, first time in my life, and I did something called the Dandavat Parikram. Dandavat means where you prostrate from your feet all the way to the end of your arms, where you just lay down flat, chest down. And it's danda means a stick just falls like this. So that's why it's called the Dandavat Parikram. Parikram means to circumambulate the most powerful energy vortexes. So this is what I did first time in my life around Radha Kund and Shama Kund. These are the eyes of the peacock. Remember? Govardhan mountain is in the shape of a peacock. And the two eyes of the peacock is these two beautiful lakes. Now these lakes are so celestial and exotic. It's also to do with a lot of self-love and spiritual love and the most divine spiritual love. So one day I'll tell you the stories of how these two lakes came about, but that's another long story. But basically these two lakes are the embodiment, the liquid form of the masculine and the divine embodiment of transcendental love. When these two divine beings, Radha and Shyam, when they embraced each other, such deep feelings of love for one another, the masculine and the feminine, which all of us have. Then they immediately melt and they fall as this, and they become these two beautiful lakes called Radhakunda and Shyamakunda rivers, these lakes. So it is explained that whoever circumambulates this lake, the energy of spiritual love is felt in the deepest chambers of one's heart, and it consumes one's very existence. But one has to have the right consciousness as they do it. So I wanted to do this in the right consciousness. So I waited for the whole Kartik to be over, so there's not a million people walking. So I just waited, and I did my obeisances around this Radhakund Shyamakund river. And some of you know that I have some physical issues with my shoulders. So when I was doing this Dandavat Parikram, my physical body pain started to be amplified. And I was thinking, I don't think I can do this. And I just said, no, I'm going to push it through. So I just kept doing my Dandavat Parikrams. And more pain comes about. And then I start to get a little headache on the left side of my head. And I was thinking, something's telling me that I shouldn't be doing it. Something is not right. And then I just kept pushing forward. And finally, I was on my knees. You get on your knees and then you do a full prostrate. Finally, when I got on my knees, this beautiful white cow, Vrindavan, you'll see cows are respected. They just go wherever they want and everybody feeds them and everybody touches them and everybody cares for them. They're everywhere. But, in this parikram path, this big, beautiful cow white cow with a nice big hump on its back comes in and starts licking my head as my head is having this crazy migraine headache, starts licking my head. And I just sit on my knees and just letting this cow lick my head. It just keeps licking and licking, and I'm just like, what is this supposed to mean? What is this supposed to mean, And I was thinking how sweet it is, My mother just showed up in her four-legged form, just giving me all this affection and just caressing my head and letting me know that it's okay, Veda, you got this, you can do it. And then I thought, okay. And then as soon as I had that thought, my pain disappears. And there's no exaggeration here. My pain just goes, it's gone. My head pain is gone, is zero. But then I'm like, I'm excited now I can do this. But my shoulder was still hurting, my left shoulder. And I stood there and the cow walks forward again. And the cow starts coming and licking my shoulders. I was wearing my white t-shirt like this, and it kept licking my shoulders and licking my shirt up and licking my shoulders. And I just sat there and I let the cow just lick my shoulders and lick my shoulders. And finally I was like, what is she doing, And then my shoulder pain goes away. So this is, I'm just telling you a story of a regular mortal on this planet. There are so many mystical things that happen in Vrindavan every day to millions of people. For me, I was like, this is amazing. And then after that, I was almost in tears, not in pain, but in tears. My heart just filled with so much gratitude. And every obeisances that I made, I was thinking of, our European yatra. I was thinking of our Belgium yatra, our Dutch yatra, our communities everywhere in Eindhoven, in Bulgaria. And I just kept offering my love and prayers that everyone in this world could actually feel this love of Radhesham, this Radha Kund and Shama Kund. And, finally, when I made it to the end, I was just, there was 3 assistants and 3 people are doing it. You don't need to have an assistant, but they just came and just kept encouraging us and encouraging us. It was just really, really sweet. And after that, I took a very beautiful, first time in my life, I took a dip in this sacred lake called Radha Kund and Shama Kund. They are both beautifully connected. And that is another magical story, that what happens, and that's for another day, another discussion. So this is what happens in Vrindavan. Essentially, when we go to these places where for thousands of years, people are cultivating that same emotion of prema bhakti. We're not just talking about bhakti, we're talking about prema bhakti. The topmost transcendental, pure, unconditional, eternal spiritual love. This prema bhakti is being cultivated in this place by millions of people for thousands of years. So the energy is so charged. It's so charged. And this is why people come to Vrindavan. This is why people move to Vrindavan. This is why people spend time in Vrindavan with the right consciousness. Okay. So thank you for joining us. We have 5 minutes. Any questions, or anybody would like to share anything or any comments related to this, the stories of Vrindavan that I shared today? So we shared about the story of Pichari Ka Lota. Pichari? Yeah. Is the tale of the peacock, the temple there, the Lota Baba temple. And then we shared the story of Suravikund. Suravikund, the place of forgiveness. The place of patience, the place of forgiveness, and the lakes of love. Those are the 3 places that I spent last week. And then, of course, this interesting, fascinating spiritual hospital here. That's a quick recap. Any questions or comments? I see Drew showed up on the call. I was just thinking, many of you know Drew. Oh, Claire, nice to see you. New people that came in a little later.
We're so grateful for your health and your wellness. Thank you for sharing with us. Love you so much. Love all of you.
Thank you. Love you, and love you all very much. And then Paul is also here. So thank you for joining us, Paul. And Amita Balaram Prabhu, thank you for joining us. Ingrid, thank you for joining us. And Elena, thank you for joining us. And Irene, nice to see you. I was just going to share, Drew, before coming to India with me, he said, Veda, I'm just not sure. Drew, you want to share this story or am I going to share it? Because we got 3 minutes.
Okay, you can share it. Thanks.
Okay. So Drew was like, I don't know if I want to go to India, man. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is the time. And I said, hey, Drew, are you coming to India? And he goes, man, I don't know. I have a job. I need to work. And then a week later, I'm like, Drew, are you coming to India? So I asked him like 5 times and 6 times. And finally, Drew goes like, man, I'm going to be so broke and, I'm not going to have a job. And, I'm a little frustrated about not being able to work in my field. Most of you know Drew is an actor and he's also a producer. He's done a bunch of movies. Oh, Mantrini, welcome. Nice to see you. Also, Nathan Prabhu. So, Drew, I said, just make sure you make your wish, whatever you want in life. Just be careful what you wish for. Because the places we're going, Rishikesh, Vrindavan, the energies are like, those are the energies of manifestations. Energies of material success, energies of spiritual success, energies of all success. So be careful what you wish for. He says, Veda, man, I just want to be successful in my field, and I just want to have I just want to have a good job, and do the spiritual thing at the same time. Yesterday, I get a message from Drew. Beautiful message. He just signed a contract with this. He's been hanging out with all this, film industry actors, directors, and producers, and he just signed a contract yesterday. And so I was like, Drew, I told you, man, be careful what you wish for. If that's what you wish for, you may get stuck there. So just keep in mind that there's more in the world than getting back into the thick of things in the material world of fame and, the whole world seeing your face every day on a screen. There's a beautiful heart to you, Drew. So that was my prayer for the day.
Thank you. Love you, brother.
I love you too. You want to share anything else, Drew?
No, thank you.
Okay. We have 1 more minute. Anyone else wants to share anything? He should be our host.
No, you all have gotten me all emotional today. I don't have anything to share. I'm just very grateful.
I'll share with you one day some of the pictures. I have a picture of Liz. You see the beautiful Liz sitting on the bank of the Ganga, and just like it was like this mother and daughter having a crying session. She's splashing her waters on her, and Liz is sitting on the rock and crying to Ganga Devi, and Ganga Devi is trying to reach out to her and let her know that everything's okay. And it was caught on camera. Drew and the crew caught that on camera. So it was really nice.
Thank you.
So, thank you all so much. It's so nice to be with all of you. And I appeal to all of you to please continue your sadhana and continue your spiritual practice, because that will give you access, true access to your heart. And you'll be able to experience spiritual love if you just continue on your sadhana every single day. And I look forward to seeing you all in person very soon. I know we have retreats in Connecticut coming up. We have the Dutch Revolution retreats coming up in Eindhoven, organized by the Dutch angels, the European angels. And then we have Bulgarian retreats coming up. I have this feeling, I was told, discussing with the Bulgarian crew, had a little discussion. It seems like there may be 100 Bulgarians coming for the India trip next year. So it's just gonna be all ecstatic spiritual fun. It's just this constant spiritual party. And then, and Nitai and Raj, I know, have always something cooking underneath their sleeves of different ways to engage me in service in Atlanta and everywhere else. And so thank you all so much. Love you all very much. So nice to be with all of you, and we'll see you again next week. Please bring your hearts, bring your friend, family. Let us all unite under this